You know what I assume. This is Hungarian goulash. This is Hungarian goulash created with AI. Created with a prompt that was written in a way, yeah, the question is in a good way, in a bad way. I believe it can look better. So today I'll be sharing some practices. Some good practices how to write good prompts to get better Hungarian goulash. So we are starting with the bad one. Then I'll be presenting some nice techniques how to write better ones or good ones. Then we're gonna test the setup. I'm a Polish person, but we'll see if AI can understand a Polish person speaking Hungarian language. I also have a gift for you. So bear with me, and there's gonna be a gift at the end of this presentation. My name is Kacper Dabrowski. I'm Solutions Architect Leader for Enterprise at AWS, and I work across CE. Pleasure to be here with you today in Budapest. What I'm going to do today with you is I'm going to start with a quick introduction on AI. We had so many good sessions today. And then directly from the introduction, we'll deep dive a little bit to contact centers topic, as I do believe that customer satisfaction and understanding of customers and the ability to speak multiple languages, actually all of the languages of C, is a great benefit of Gen AI, of AI really. Then afterwards, I'm gonna present some demos, sum it up with prompt engineering techniques, and a gift for you. I'll be talking about two services from AWS portfolio, Amazon Connect and Bedrock. Amazon Connect gives you a possibility to build a contact center that is fully automated, that can scale to your needs with a simple UI and AI embedded in it. This is like a very short video to present how you can configure IVR tree with Amazon Connect. It is simple as that. But then the question is, how do I add AI to this? And what can I really achieve? Let's find out. Let's find out if AI is able to understand a Polish person speaking Hungarian.
Azt szeretném kérdezni, hogy mit érdemes este Budapesten csinálni?
Kérlek, várj, most foglalkozunk a kérdésedre adott válasz feldolgozásával. Budapesten számos érdekes és szórakoztató program lehetőség közül választhat. Javaslom, hogy látogassa meg a budai várat, sétáljon a Dunaparton, vagy fedezze fel a város vibráló gasztronómiai életét.
The very first thing I understood from this audio was gastronomia, as it sounds quite similar to Polish. But then I spoke a little bit more with Arpad, who had a talk today as well. And he explained to me more words, like palinka, for instance. So I know a little bit more of Hungarian now. But it was a quite boring one, right? What can I do in Budapest if I come here? I can add more features to that. So I can use Bedrock. So I can play a little bit with knowledge bases, with RAG. I can also get access to multiple AI models, right? So the thing is, you have a model that, gonna fulfill your specific custom needs, and it can run on Bedrock, and we will automate and manage the infrastructure for you. But you're getting access to multiple models, right? So we are not limiting you. And we also look after, security and compliance for you. But the question that comes to the minds of our customers is, do I really want to talk about, fancy stuff like fancy restaurants and stuff like that with my customers? Probably I want to use a knowledge base. Maybe it's gonna be an insurance policy. Maybe it's gonna be a new offering of my company. So then I want to use RAG, and I want to put maybe a PDF file. Maybe I want to use web crawler, or maybe I want to use different sources of the information and then reconfigure my AI system to make it custom. And one more important thing. We probably don't want our voice bot or chatbot or any other AI solution to discuss, for example, politics, right? So Renato already covered this part a little bit, and he said, well, we can limit the AI models. In our context, it's called guardrails. And basically, with these AI policies, you can limit the scope that AI will be working in. A very interesting feature of this service. So I've introduced the concept of AI service, but let's find out how it works with the knowledge base and the guardrails.
A tudós bázis alapján mik a biztosítási csomagok?
Kérlek, várj, most foglalkozunk a kérdésedre adott válasz feldolgozásával. A biztosítási csomagok az alábbi biztosítási eseményekre nyújtanak fedezetet és szolgáltatásokat. Alapcsomag, alapvető biztosítási események és szolgáltatások. Médium csomag, bővebb biztosítási események és szolgáltatások. Prémium csomag, legszélesebb körű biztosítási események és szolgáltatások. A különböző csomagok részletes leírását a biztosítási feltételekben találhatja meg. Van-e további kérdése?
All right, so we actually use the knowledge base in this example. And besides knowing the answer for this question, we can also see that I learned another word in Hungarian. That was, I think, the third word. That was csomagok. So now I can discuss, the packages of insurance easily. But we can also see in this picture that the category of the question was the knowledge base. And here an interesting story coming from Allianz, the insurance company. They had to deal with an issue that was all of the customers wanted to speak with the agents directly, and they weren't waiting for the instructions over the call, and they were pressing 0 just to go directly to the agent. With AI, you don't have to do it. You don't need the numpad anymore. You can just ask a question. An important part is on the bottom as well. So you're getting access to the sentiment. You're getting access to the information about the emotions of the agent, but more importantly, you also get access to the customer's emotion. And of course, the whole transcript of the communication. So let's have a look how the infrastructure works and what's the architecture. Of course, we are starting with the most important bit, who is our customer. Then we have AWS environment with the managed service called Amazon Connect. And we are utilizing Kinesis for video to split up the audio streams into smaller chunks to speed it up as much as possible. And I believe that any good architecture from AWS has to have Lambda functions, and we can see them as well. But the more important thing is that not all of the questions have to be addressed by AI. Sometimes I hear opinions like, should I use AI or not? Like 0 or 1. If I want to check if my policy works in Spain, maybe I can just call a database like DynamoDB or any other database, really, and get access to this information. Queuing systems, again, to distribute the tasks. And a Lambda function as we want to deal with it in an asynchronous way. And we have some calls to SageMaker with Whisper model and Bedrock with the knowledge base. The last but not least, Amazon Poly. You heard Amazon Poly today that was doing text-to-speech, but you can also integrate it with a custom API that speaks the language of your company. So let's just sum it up and let's see the flow. So we are getting a call. It flows directly to the Whisper model. Then we create transcript. The transcripts flies to the Lambda functions through the queuing system, and we can ask a question against the knowledge base that is running next to Bedrock. We provide the answer, and Polly can create the audio file out of this transcript. And of course, we will send it back through Amazon S3 in this case, if it's a recording, to Amazon Connect, and it will be read to the user, to the customer. So a typical business scenario could be like that. I would like to ask if my policy protects me in Spain. Then we have a Lambda function that is querying the database, the knowledge base, sorry, through Amazon Bedrock. We create the text chunks, and we are able to provide the answer. We generate the response. Yes, you're insured. So that's quite optimistic approach. I know you've seen some less optimistic examples today before. But if you do it right, if you configure the guardrails, and if your knowledge base is with a high quality, that it may help your customers to understand if they are insured or not. And now the third scenario. I won't be presenting any architecture diagram, but a little bit more complex scenario. What if I want to call my customer and fetch some data from my customer, like a name, surname, and so on? How do I configure the prompt, with similar architecture for the outbound communication to make sure that I'm fetching all of the required informations? And now I'll be presenting the best techniques for Claude 3.5 that you may apply in your scenarios. So look carefully at number 1. You should always start with instructions. I often tell people, like, whenever you even hire a person in your company, you start with instructions. You do the same with AI. You have to teach AI whom the AI is. So you're telling it, you are AI assistant collecting essential customer information. You're also asking AI to check and validate latest user input carefully and verify all of the required informations. Imagine how long the prompt will be. But bear with me and let's follow this prompt. We are adding conversation history. So when there was like conversation that happened before, maybe with some errors inside of that, we want to know the history to let the AI agent to ask for more data, to ask for clarification, to modify the data that is not correct. Then with number 3, we want this voice bot or chatbot to work in any language. So we have a template for this. But again, what's important here, your role is to verify the input. So we are defining required data points like name, surname, date of birth, phone number, and country of birth. But for a good prompt, you need more. And there's a nice technique in Claude, guidelines and process. And if you're interested and you would like to see all of the guidelines and the whole description of a process that we applied for this voice bot to work in such a way, I'm super happy to share it with you. I'm just sharing two examples of definitions out of 30 plus, if I'm not mistaken. So only use information explicitly provided by the customer. Do not hallucinate, right? Ask for clarification. Do not make it up. You need to instruct it like you would be instructing a new employee in your company. And ask follow-up questions. Check all 5 required data points. But that's not enough. A good technique for writing a good prompt is to also define response format. So we are defining this document, and some predefined values like complete, yes or no, confirmed, yes or no, cancel, yes or no. And then we instructed the voice bot, actually the AI solution, and we mentioned that we expect a date of birth. So it will come to a conclusion that the date of birth is actually the field where this value should end up. And another very good technique to avoid hallucinations and weird stuff in your database is to define examples. So you can have a list of examples, I'm just presenting one, how such a conversation should look like to assume that the data is correct. And again, communicate in any language that is supported, any language of C in this case. I rewrote the prompt for Hungarian goulash. I used the same AI model, that is Flux, and it can be hosted on AWS. But I decided to add more details. So let me just read the prompt. The first one was just create a picture of Hungarian goulash, and then I extended it a little bit. Create a cozy, appetizing scene of a freshly prepared Hungarian goulash served in a rustic setting. Show a deep steaming bowl of rich reddish-brown goulash filled with tender chunks of beef, potatoes, carrots, and bell peppers, all garnished with fresh parsley. Serve it with beer. You see how important it is to write a good prompt for your AI solutions. And now last but not least, the gift. If you believe that AI and Gen AI is the future, similar to me, you can go to this website and give it a try for free. There's an exception. You use Gen AI to create Gen AI applications. So here, I want to build an application that will be an icebreaker application and will propose a few topics. I think I'm asking for free questions, icebreaker questions on any topic. After clicking Create App, I'm getting this up immediately, and I have topic input. So I'm asking, please propose some questions to discuss AI today. I'm pressing Command Enter on my keyboard, and the Gen AI application that I've created with Gen AI proposes them automatically. You can do it for anything. Whenever you're at work, at home, maybe you want to travel somewhere and you don't know where to travel, give it a try.